Good morning, students. So, in previous session, we were discussing about fuzzy logic, architecture of fuzzy logic. We discussed it with one example of a tipping problem. How tipping problem is solved using fuzzy logic. What is fuzzification? What is defuzzification? What is fuzzy rules? And so on. So, we saw those things with the help of a example. So then we started with what is weak slot and feelers, and one type of weak slot representation, that was semantic nets. We discussed that. So in today's session, we'll go for frames as a representation mechanism for in weak slots, and then we'll go for strong slots. So semantic nets yesterday we discussed. So if we'll take an example that, let's say there is a sentence, John gave Mary the book, then how it can be represented in semantic net? It is like this. So here we can say there is an event. The event, in that event, who initiated the event, or who was the agent? So John was the agent who initiated the event. Who receives that event? Mary was a receiver. What was the event? Giving was the event. What he gave? He gave some object, and that object is nothing but a book. Why we are saying that object is book? Because John is a person, Mary is a book, Mary is a person, gave is an action. Now he must give some book. So that is some object. He gave an object which is a book, and that object can have some object ID associated with it. So this is something which you can skip or keep depending on if I'll say here he gave him a let's say a book of Harry Potter. So it can be Harry Potter, which is an instance of book kind of thing. So this was the semantic net. Then when it comes to frames, so frames means what? It's a record-like structure which consists of what? Collection of attributes and its values. So what we already have discussed frames in one of the previous unit, that was structured knowledge representation. So where we have seen that frames, we can represent frames in the form of tabular structure, where every column, where column names and values can be there. So frames are the AI data structures which divides the knowledge into what? Substructures. By representing what stereotype situation, it consists of what? Collection of slots and slot values. So we know what is slot, and it is called as filler, weak slot, and filler is a value. So these slots may be of any type and size. Slots have what? Names and values which are collected facets. So what? Slots have their name. Slots have what? Names and values which are called facets. So what is a facet? The various aspects of a slot is known as facets. Facets are features of frames which enables us to put the constraint on the frame. So let's take an example about frame. With this example, you can understand it in more better. Let's say for frame, we have slots and corresponding fillers. Slot means what? In a layman's term related to database, we can call it a attribute name, and fillers are nothing but what? Attribute values. For example, for book, slot is the title, value is artificial intelligence. Slot is the author, value is Peter Norvig. Slot is the edition, value is third edition, year 1996, and page, there are 1152 pages. Must have taken very long to write this book. So this is one example of a frame. Another example, let's say this is a description of a particular person. Suppose we are talking about an entity, Peter. Peter is an engineer as a profession. So name of a person is Peter. Profession is a it should have been engineer over here, not doctor. Sorry for this. His age is 25. He lives in a city, London. So city is London. You can add. So the following frame. So we can represent this information in this format. So it's a frame. So where we are having slots and their corresponding fillers. And I can related to attribute of an entity. So here we can say book is an entity, title, author, edition, year, page. These are the attributes of an entity, and these are nothing but what? Values of those attributes. If you want to relate, then it is a structured representation. As we discussed, it's a structured representation. So here we can say that ML baseball player means then adult male and person. So we can say that a baseball player is a adult male. Adult male is a person, and a person is a mammal. So don't you think it's a structured representation where even it supports inheritance? That baseball player is an adult male is a person, and person is a mammal. So also it allows us to represent the cardinality also. Cardinality, it means what? There are these many types of mammals are there, and person is one of the mammals. Person is one of the mammals. So cardinality is this. Then let's say there are these many number of adult males are there, or there are these many number of persons are there. Sorry, these many number of persons are there. Similarly, here I can say the baseball player is adult male. So how many baseball players are there? Let's say there are 624 baseball players are there who are adult male. So here I can say there are different types of adult males who are person, different number of persons are there who are mammals. So we can specify the cardinality. Now, when we are now talking about some attributes. So here, if you will see the attribute value, or this is beginning with star. Whereas if I'm talking about it's a particular player, PV Risi. Here height it does not begin with star. So here it is a star, here it is not star. What it means? It's a general information. But it says that a baseball player is inherited from is a adult male, cardinality 624, and the average height, or we can say approximate height, is 6 feet 1 inch. So it's they are talking about no generality or average. Similarly, bats equal or handed. Batting average is this team. We cannot talk about general average team or uniform color. This is something which cannot be mentioned. Let's say if it is a IPL, we can talk about average batting average of a opener or something like that. We can say that whether it's a left-handed or right-handed batsman kind of things. But the team of a player uniform, we cannot say it is a general manner. That's why they are kept empty. Similarly, there is a fielder. So fielder is a what? Fielder is a baseball player. Cardinal rate is 376, and batting average something like this. So again here star. But now we are talking about a particular person. So here PV Risi, he is an instance of fielder. So he's a fielder. Height is 5'10". There is no star associated with it. He bats right-handed. Batting average is 0.309. He plays for this team and uniform color is blue, which was not mentioned earlier because that was generality and we cannot have a average or common value. But here we can have. So this is how we can represent frame information in a more structured manner. So similarly for baseball team, we can say that okay, average size team size is 24, cardinality there are 26 teams, and so on. Any doubt, class, till this point? Anyone having any doubt? Majid, we have same. Okay, Majid is asking what is the lecture location. Majid, we are having same lecture location every time. It never changes. Okay, let's come back to the lecture. Frames. So if we are talking about frames, so frames comes. Okay, what are the advantages? The frame knowledge representation makes what programming easier by grouping the related data. So that is more important thing. It makes programming what Masjid, my lecture location is 206. It is not 207. Okay. So since it is structured location, and you can see it's a proper structured location, I can create a inheritance hierarchy. Am I right? Because it supports inheritance, and if I can create a inheritance hierarchy, I can easily work on it. It is easy to represent. Then the frame representation is comparably flexible and used by many applications. Obviously, it's flexible because I can create an object-oriented representation, which is very flexible. It is easy to add slots. Obviously, adding the attribute is easy because adding the attribute means what? Adding a slot, it's like adding a new attribute to the class. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Sorry for being late. When we attend okay, class, just a minute, yes. We want to attend the lecture on offline. Is it okay? I don't have any problem. You can attend. Okay. Okay. Class, can you please excuse me for let's say around 35-40 seconds? Two students are attending the session in offline mode, just they entered. So, and I'll give me a few seconds to make some necessary arrangements. Thank you, class, and sorry for interruption also, and thanks for your support. So, we were discussing the advantages. The biggest advantage of frame is I can easily represent it as a object-oriented structure, and since I can easily represent it using object-oriented programming because of natural inheritance in it, and adding a slot means what? Simply adding a new attributes in a class, which is not a difficult thing. That's why it becomes very easy. And then it is easy to include default data and to search for missing values. Because of OO programming, it is easy. Then frame representation is easy to understand and visualize. Again, you can easily create class diagrams, you can easily create related object-oriented diagrams, and you can easily understand and visualize it. So these are the major advantages. Then what's the drawback of a frame system? See, the major drawbacks are in frame system, inference mechanism is not easily processed. We can create object-oriented structure, but can we infer something from that object? No, it allows us to represent. And weak slot, yesterday only we were discussing that it does not concern about what it is representing. It does not concern about contents, that contents it is representing. It only represents it. And that's why we cannot easily infer. We cannot infer anything from that objects. Next is the inference mechanism cannot be smoothly proceeded by frame representation, obviously. because of the same reason. And frame representation has much generalized approach. So definitely it's a much generalized approach. Why? We are only saying these are the objects, how objects are connected, what are the attributes of objects. But what about what actions they are performing, who is performing the action, on which the action is getting performed, what is the tense of action, any kind of information, is it available? No, it is simply a objects representation along with their information, process, procedure, everything is missing. So that is a major drawback of frame system, but at the same time it is easy to implement also. Any query or any doubt? Anyone? No? Okay, let's go to next point. Strong slot and filler structure. So let's say now strong slot has a major advantage that it is concerned about what information it is representing. And since it is concerned about what information it is representing, we can easily infer the information, we can easily extract the information from the representation. So represents links between objects according to more rigid rules. That is the most important thing. As the rules become rigid, we can get better information. Specific notion of what type of object and relation between them are provided. So here it is specifying exact relationship between two objects. For example, let's say John gave a book to Mary. Then it will tell specifically who initiates the action, towards whom the action is initiated, what action is initiated, on which object action is initiated, when it was initiated, and so on. Everything will be properly depicted in a representation. So we can easily apply NLP over here. We can easily apply NLP, that is natural language processing, over here when we are representing the information using strong slots and pillars. And nowadays NLP is a need of a time. People are working on NLP, but yes, much more need to be accomplished. They represent knowledge about common situations. That is the most important thing. We can easily represent the knowledge about common situations. So all these things are easily provided by strong slot and filler. And yesterday only we discussed there are three types. There are three categories under it. Conceptual dependency. Next was script. Third is CYC. CYC is a very big attempt by world for inducing the information from structured data, sorry, unstructured text data. So let's say conceptual dependency, the short form for conceptual dependency is CD. So the name itself indicates it is representing what? Dependency in a conceptual manner, and it was originally developed to represent what? Knowledge acquired from natural language input. So if you are reading something and you have some knowledge how to represent, for example, let's say there is a notice board in a college, and it says Tuesday is a, let's say on Monday you have a midterm 2 for subject XYZ. Then midterm 2 will, there is no second attempt for midterm 2. So what you can deduce from it? If you will miss it, you will get 0 marks. Yes or no? So if these two natural statements are there, using conceptual dependency or other things, you can easily deduce. Whoever not attempted it will get 0. That's what means what? We can easily represent it and as well as acquire the knowledge. And most important thing from what? Natural language. What is the natural language? Something which are, see, instead of what we speak, it is a better way to say a grammatically proper language. For example, English, if English is there, German is there, French is there, Hindi is there, Gujarati is there. So these are natural languages. So if you are speaking something and it is grammatically incorrect, can I consider it as a proper sentence or proper input? No, the input will be wrong. And if an input is wrong, can you expect a proper output from it? If an input to your program is wrong, will you get a correct output? No. So there, yesterday there was one, not yesterday, 3-4 days ago, there was one student. He came. not one student, a couple of students. They entered my cabin, and one student was saying something in English, and I was like, After 2 minutes, second person he repeated everything, and after that, okay, you want to say this? Now I can explain something. So what happened? First person was speaking something in English, but I was not able to understand a single word other than sir, wrong, and something like that. So similarly, when you talk about natural language, ensure that it is grammatically correct or it is conceptually grammatically correct. That is most important thing. Huh? So what are the goals of this? To help in drawing the inference from sentences. To help what? To help in drawing what? Inference from the sentences. So during unit number 4 also. So we saw a set of sentences. No? Marcus is a man. He was born on particular year. He was Pompeian. And at the end we want to infer whether he is alive or dead. So basically it means what? We were inferring something from available sentences. In those sentences, it was never mentioned whether Marcus is dead or not. We have to infer. So if you want to do something, yes, we can do using conceptual dependency also. Then to be independent of the words used in original input. So what do you mean by to be independent of the words used in original input? So it is something like this. Let's understand it with the help of example. So it's in a conceptual dependency. The sentence is I gave man a book. I gave man a book. So how can I write conceptual dependency? Who is originating it? I. So arrow is going out from I. To whom I am giving? A man. So arrow is going towards man. Then it's a relation. No? So there is a R for the recipient case relation. So this is a recipient case relation which is originated from me going towards man. Then what I am giving? Object. What object? A book. Trans, what it's we shortly see. It's a type of action. So it's an action originated from by whom? I. And what is the sentence or what is the time? P. That is the past tense. So gave means past tense. No? Sorry? P stands for past tense. It's a past tense. It talks about time. Here it's a gave. So it's a past tense. If I'm written, I gave the book to man yesterday. Or let's say I give, here instead of past tense, if there is something like yesterday, 9th November or something like that, then here instead of P, it will be what? Yesterday or 9th November, something like that. It talks basically, whatever is here, it talks about what? Time. So now, instead of this sentence, I gave the man a book. If I write, the man got book from me. The man got book from me. Will this representation remain same? Yes. It is originated from whom? I. Given to what? Man. What is the action? What is the relation? Received. What object is book? It's a past tense. Similarly, the book was given to man by me. So these are three different sentences. What about the representation? It is same or different? Same. So that's what it says. To be independent of words used in original input. One can write it in different manner, but representation will remain same. Any doubt or any query till this point? Anyone? No? Okay, good. Then what it provides? It provides a structure into which nodes representing information can be placed. So earlier there were nodes where would I, man, book. So you can place everything. A specific set of primitives to specify what are the primitives. These are the primitives we will shortly see at a given level of granularity. What do you mean by given level of granularity? Details. So we can provide all information like what was the time, who initiated, towards whom it was initiated. Then there are different types of actions. So we can specify all types of actions in there in it. So there are agents and objects are represented and everything. So here see, there are different types of actions. For example, here some actions are mentioned, but other than this also there are some actions. For example, a trans. A trans means what? A transfer of an object. I gave, I received, something like that. P trans, physical location. Transfer of what? Physical location. Means you simply, let's say I ran, kind of thing. So now I'm moving the location. Propel. An application of what? Like push. Means you are physically forcing the object. Physically force the object. Okay. Then what kind of other relation? Mental. For example, I was telling, thinking, listening. M trans. Mental information. M build. Construction. Construct new information from old. Speak. Attend, move, grasp, ingest, expel. So you can represent different types of actions. So one can easily identify what kind of action is going. And similarly, if there are objects, you can, for example, PP represents what? Real world object. PP indicates what? If you want to represent a real world object, I can represent it as a PP. For example, here, uh, John is a real world object. So I can represent here it as PP. John ran. So PP is an object. What's the action? It's a P trans. And what is the tense? Past tense. Here John pushed the bike. So it's PP. What is the object? Bike. What's action? Propel. So here I can write past tense and so on. So I can represent real world objects. I can represent what? Action. So objects come over here. So this is one object, this is another object, and this is the action. So I can call it PP. Bike is a PP. John is a PP. This is the action. PA, attributes of object. For example, if I'm talking about book, I can represent what? Book name, book title, who is a book author, and so on. Attributes of actions, I can represent time as we discussed, P and all. Similarly, we can represent what? Locations. So basically these are 6 primitive conceptual categories provide what? Building blocks, which are the set of allowable dependencies. So object is a dependency, action is a dependency, and so on. So we can represent everything in a conceptual dependency diagram. So this is how we can represent everything. So this is just a short information. Conceptual dependency entire will take a long time, but it's just one point in our syllabus. So just to be more precise, let's say there are 2 persons. He is saying that what I'm expecting. Let's say he's saying, okay, tomorrow you better bring my book, otherwise I'll give a complaint to your parents. And the next sentence is day before, next day he didn't bring a book. What will happen now? He will give a complaint to his parent. So can you deduce it something like this? Yes, he's telling him. Na? So what is the action? Tell. Who tell? He tells. To whom? Him. What about tense? Future tense. Am I right? So kind of things you can easily represent, and you can deduce also that what might happen tomorrow. So you can write rules and all. Any doubt, class, till this point? What is PCR test, Raf?
Yes, they are coming to the campus to take PCR test for those who have some symptoms of COVID. So they will take PCR test.
Okay, Raf, okay, you can drop your enrollment number, email number, and I'll mark your attendance. No problem. Please mention your email address also. Thank you. So then in a strong slot filler structure, there is something called as script. So what is script? Script is, as the name indicates, one can easily understand what is a script. So for movie there is a script. Am I right? If you want to do some drama, there is a script. What do you mean by script? How it should happen. Am I right? What do you mean by movie script? It gives a complete description. Am I right? See, script is not only about dialogues. Huh? When you say script, it is not only about dialogues. If you read script, it gives complete description. For example, let's say, uh, script, sorry, script will not say that one person is walking. Script will say that okay, there is a road, trees are there on both the sides of roads. There is a background sound of owls mixed with, let's say, wolves. A nice breeze is there. Person is walking and he is afraid. And while walking, he is talking something or he is looking here and there. Means what? Script will tell you everything in complete detail. Am I right? It will tell you about what objects are there, what objects are involved, how it begins, how it will end. It will tell you everything in complete detail. Similarly, when you talk about script in a strong slot and filler structure, it will give you complete detail about a particular situation, including what objects are involved, what are possibilities, and everything. See, so it's a structure that prescribes a set of circumstances which could be expected to follow. Okay, let's say, let's directly go to example. You can easily understand that. Before that, what are the components? So components are entry conditions. Means what? If these conditions are true, then only script will be start. Script will be executed or it will start. Then what are the results? That when script is finished, what might occur or what will happen? Props. What are the objects involved in the script? Roles, tracks, and scene. So take an example. For example, the script are useful in describing certain situations. Let's say the situation that we are going to deal with is robbing a bank. Situation is what? Robbing a bank. So if it someone wants to rob a bank, what is involved? The person will first what? Get a gun. Second, hold up a bank. And third, what? Escape with the money. Am I right? So if someone wants to rob a bank, these are these things. First, okay, get a gun, hold up a bank, and then escape with the money. So now let's talk about everything. What are the props involved? A gun, a bag. In a bag, he will have a loot, or let's say loot, and most important thing, a car to escape. That is a getaway car. What are the roles involved here? There is a robber. He will go to a bank. Then there will be a cashier, and there will be a bank manager, and there will be a policeman, guard, whomsoever it is. So these are the roles involved. So what are the entry conditions? Let's say we assume the robber S is a poor and he is destitute. So these are two conditions. He is poor, he is destitute. Then only he will decide that he wants to rob a bank. Here we are considering these conditions. Please don't argue that a person who is having more money also wants to rob a bank and all. This is just an example. Okay. So let's say these are our entry conditions. Means what? If these conditions are true, situation will be, script will be executed. Other case, let's say you want to eat in a restaurant. What will be entry condition? You are hungry, you have money, then only you will enter in a restaurant. So that will be an entry condition. Then what can be the role? Waiter is there, chef is there, hotel manager is there, and all. So similarly, everything will be there. Then what will be the result? The S person result is what? What will happen when script is completed? S will have more money. Earlier he was poor. Now he has looted the bank, so he has more money. Obviously, bank manager will be angry, and the person who was in front of gun, he will be in a state of a shock, and possibilities that he might shoot a policeman or guard. So these are the results. So now, since one most important thing is remaining script. Now these are the things which are involved in a script. So what is a script? Now in a script there will be multiple entry points. So there are multiple scenes. So props. So in a script you will write props, roles, results, and entry conditions. Once everything is there, you will start with the scene one. What is the scene one? R P trans R into gun shop. Means what? What is P trans? Can you recollect? P trans, transfer of physical location of an object. So means what? A person will go to a gun shop.
And then it's transfer method.
M build. What is M build?
Transfer method.
Construct a new information from old. So he M build. He will go for what? He will get a choice of guns. He will choose the gun, and then he will what? Buy a gun. So the first statement that okay, person should acquire a gun. So that is true. So this is how it will do. Using P trans, M build, M trans, and A trans. What is M trans and A trans? M trans means what? Transfer of mental information. He will tell him, na, I want this gun. And finally, A trans. Am I right? He will buy the gun. He will tell that person that I want this gun, and he will buy that gun. So this is the end of a scene one. And once scene one is ended, we can go to scene two according to our script. So what is scene two? P trans. He will go what? Physical transfers. No? He will go here bank. Attend IMOP. Eyes. So what will be attend? Attend. What's the meaning of attend and move? Attend stands for most focus sense on stimulus. Means what? He will focus on bank manager, police, and whom? Cashier. Move. Movement of body part. He will move physically over there. No? So everything is specified over here. So he will look at what? Guard, bank manager, and cashier. So he will enter into bank. He will look for guard or policeman, bank manager, and cashier. Then he physically move to particular position. Then he will grasp a gun. He will move that gun to point towards cashier. Am I right? Move a gun to points for whom? A cashier. Then he will tell him, give me the money or else I'll shoot you. They will hold it hands up to R and everything and so on. And finally what? It will raise the alarm. Why? There is a bank robbery, and once there is an alarm, go to scene 3 and he will escape with from what? A getaway car. So basically everything one can write properly. Everything one can write properly. So if someone wants to build a bot who can do a robbery in future, they can have some scripts, and here they can talk about every other rules and all. Am I right? So this is a script which involves everything. So script is not only about what to be done. For that you need to have basic information. That information is what? Props, roles, results, and entry condition. Any doubt till this time? Anyone?
should be recalling papers and then reference icons.
Sorry.
In the exam, the question will come. We should be recalling these verbs, advanced verbs, and then reference.
There might be a
They will
question.
ask us to prevent a script out of.
Normally it will see. There might be a question that explains script with example. At that time, it's up to you what example to write. But if you can recollect this few things, what is these things? It will not take much time. See, transfer is everywhere. Am I right? Yes or no? Trans and all. So A stand for what? Abstract relation. Physically transfer. Propel means what? Propel. Force. Build means what? M-build. It's mental information they are talking about. So you can recollect. It's not, see, grasp, move, attend, expel. The word itself indicates what? The meaning. Here also, if you will see, act, attribute, attribute and action, time, location. So instead of memorizing it, if you will simply logically understand it, you can easily write it. Attribute of something like that. Okay. Any other query or question? No? Okay. Um, then what are the advantages of scripts? What are the drawbacks of scripts? So advantages are what? The ability to predict the events. Means what? You are considering all possibilities and then you are predict what might happen in a future. And such thing was not available for us in the case of what? Semantic nets and what was the other thing? Frames. It was not able to predict. Why? Because it was not considering the information that it was representing. It's most important thing because of which this prediction AI is easy to implement because we know what might happen in the future. A single coherent interpretation may be built up from a collection of what? Observation. This is most important thing. So if we know, let's say three scenes might have happened, or let's say scenes might have happened, then we know that what might happen in a future. Or let's say you have certain 10 or 12 sentences, then you can tell what might happen. For example, he has said to his friends, okay, I want this. If it will not happen, then if this is not happened, or if action 1 is not taken, I will do threat 1. If action 2 is not taken, I will go for threat 2, and so on. So now can I interpret something? Can I interpret his behavior? If he's talking about complaint, means what? He's not violent, but he's talking about I will hit you, I will beat you, or you will face consequences. Means what? He is a violent person. So kind of things can I expect or deduce? Yes. So such things can be easily done with the help of scripts. What are the drawbacks? They are less general than frames. Why? You can easily see what we are representing: props, their roles. There is entry condition. There is a result conditions. What about gun? What about loot? What about bag? What about getaway car? How much detailed information is available? Not particularly limited. So it is less general, or basically that's why it's less general because there you can go for inheritance, cardinality, and many other things easily. So may not be suitable to represent all kinds of knowledge. This is most important. It may be or may not be suitable to represent all kind of knowledge because if a particular knowledge requires more granularity, so there is a complete possibility that it cannot be represented with the help of script. So yes, that there is always some catch. Every system you cannot say that this algorithm is perfect. Every approach they are having its own advantages and its own drawbacks. So something here and there will be there. So last point of today's session, CYC. What is CYC? So this CYC comes from encyclopedia. CYC comes from what? Encyclopedia. So what is CYC? An ambition attempt to form a very large knowledge base aimed at what? Capturing the common sense reasoning. So they simply represented encyclopedia. So what is encyclopedia? It contains all basic information. Am I right? So you can get an encyclopedia about everything. So before Wikipedia, or let's say before internet, encyclopedia were the most common forms of getting the knowledge or information. But after Google, even a 6th standard student or a 7th standard student, if you ask something, he'll directly start searching on Google. Am I right? Yes or no? Um, I have many relatives. I cannot call them like relatives. It's like children of my cousins and all. They are, let's say, 6 years old, 7 years old. You ask them something. If they cannot tell you, they start searching on Google. They'll ask me for, okay, give me your mobile. They'll search and show me the mobile Google output only. So nowadays, it okay. But what people do, their initial goal was to capture the knowledge from 100 randomly selected articles in what? Encyclopedia Britannica. So get the articles. From those articles, it's a structured language. From this language, get the knowledge, represent that knowledge, and then use that knowledge to extract more information, more data, and so on. So both implicit and explicit knowledge is encoded. Emphasis on study and underlying what? Study of what? Underlying information. So this was a big project. And if it is, it will become successful properly, it can answer many common sense questions. Example, suppose we rate that Wellington learned about Napoleon's death. Wellington learned about what? Napoleon's death. So do you know who is Wellington? He was a general in British Navy, so British Army. If you don't know about history, you must. There is one Hollywood movie, right? How can I forget? Okay, forget about it. There is one Hollywood movie. In that movie, his character is shown as a negative character. Even he fought many battles in India also and won those battles also. Okay, forget about that. So he learned that Napoleon is dead. So can you reduce the information, or can you identify that okay, Napoleon never knew that Wellington had died? Is it right? If Wellington knows that Napoleon is dead, so is it possible that Napoleon knows that okay, Wellington is died? That is not. That is not possible. So such kind of things we can conclude. So they are thinking about concluding huge information from those encyclopedia, and now that is something important. For example, let's say there is a history professor. So history professor has read 100 books, and now you are asking him something. Now history professor need to recollect every book, and he will tell you. Instead of that, if there is such a CYC system which has read all the history books, encoded the knowledge in the form of some AI representation, and now it can answer. Can it answer? Yes. In that case, one don't need history professors. Okay, but it's very ambitious thing. Nowadays, such things are being taken care of. Like in US and all, there are systems which can offer you legal advice. Nowadays also, if you call a system, they can give you some advice based on some NLP, but that is not this advanced. It's okay. Okay, so this is the end of unit number. Not sorry. I need one more session to finish unit number 7. 2 points are remaining. Sorry for that.
On the unit 6, the last unit, the data.
No, it's 4, 5, 6, 7.
They sent PDF file.
I don't know, it's unit number 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, I will discuss it. Just give me a few minutes. So, if you don't have any query or doubt, let's stop here, and I'll